Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval. Today we'll be reviewing the first part of the world missions for the Pacific 1942 section of the campaign, I guess you would call it. And these ones are going to be some of the hardest missions yet, especially 4-4, the Battle of Midway. That one I've not been able to pass solo ever. But we are going to test them out today and see if we can beat them. Now, it's not so much that the enemy team is stronger, it's more like your allied team is a lot weaker, and you have to pretty much take more responsibility upon yourself. So you need a ship that will be able to take on carriers, battleships, cruisers, and destroyers in great numbers, while also being able to survive that long. So I'm not really sure what ship I should use today. I was going to use Monarch, but well, since she was one of my favorite ships, but they've really nerfed her since I last time I played her. So I don't think she's going to be the best ship for today. So we're going to try Worcester, and we're going to see how this works. We have good AA for the carriers. We have enough damage from our main guns to deal with destroyers, cruisers, and we can slowly burn battleships as well. The main thing that worries me is her armor. Anytime she gets hit by something, she usually gets citadeled, because her citadel is like really tall. Let's see how tall. Yeah, it's really easy to hit. So we're gonna try her with Worcester, and we'll see if this works or not. So let's toss ourselves into a game. Pacific 1942 is going to be the East Solomon Islands. And on our side, we have a Lexington and 2 Bogues. We have 1 North Carolina, a couple New Orleans, some Atlantas, and some Farragut's. And the enemy team, in a minute, has 2 Shikakus, a Roiho, a Yama, a Nagato, 2 Congos, 4 Takaos, 2 Mogamis, 2 Tones, 2 Miyokos, 2 Iobas, a Farutaka, 2 Kumas, and an Akazuki, a bunch of Kageros, and even some Fubukis, it looks like. It's hard to tell. Maybe those are Akatsuki's. Yeah, you can easily see that you are very much outnumbered. It's 21 to 32. And your team is not necessarily that strong, with only 1 battleship and a bunch of lighter cruisers that usually get taken out with a few armor-piercing salvos. Yeah, it's more of a everything depends on you at this point. You do have good gun rotation on this ship though, so that does mean you can engage targets quite quickly. But yeah, the main reason why I'm taking this ship is because of her AA defense and rate of fire. Besides that, there's nothing that screams take this ship. And we're just going to try and work down any ship we can see as quickly as possible. Immediately got a fire, that's nice. 2 fires. Yeah, the fire chance on this ship is pretty decent. Not so much on the British battlecruiser I was going to use. I really used to like that ship. You would get 3 fires and 5 shells. And it was just, they just nerfed her so bad. Alright, there we go, 3 fires already. I think all on the same ship too. Alright, let's see what we can do against this Takao. Armor piercing might be decent at this range to get some citadels, but I'd rather just set fires and let the fires do the damage for me. Yep, there we go, another fire. Let's see, can we get one on this Miyoko as well? I do have health buffs and speed buffs applied as well, so do keep that in mind. And you can also kind of use this as a basis for the new American cruiser lines that are coming out. So one of the new ships is Vallejo, which means I actually have to rename it because I already have a Vallejo. And it's going to have a Worcester hull, but the guns of a Des Moines, so they're auto-loading 8-inch guns. And that's going to be a very powerful ship. Alright, so we already have 2 kills already, and it looks like the majority of the ships are going to the right side. Which is fine, because we can separate this small little pocket and take these out first. Any chunks that we can separate from the main group, we can easily take those on and just start spamming HE. Though we're not really setting any fires on this Congo right here yet. That should change. There we go. We got one fire. Adjust our aim just a little bit so we hit a different part of the ship. Maybe I should switch to armor piercing. Maybe that might work better because I'm just shattering a lot. But there is a destroyer right here. One thing the American light cruisers can also equip is radar. So you can see targets and smoke screens and stuff like that. I don't really prefer radar because it just gives you a general idea of where ships are. It doesn't exactly tell you where they are, so you can get an idea of where they are, but you can't exactly shoot them. Alright, let's pop a defensive AA. Try and save some of our ships here. It is an unlimited anti-AA defense as well, versus Des Moines, which only has 4. And let's kind of... Ooh, there's a destroyer. Let's finish her off. And yeah, this is pretty much... You have to pretty much do everything yourself. Not that your team doesn't help, but it's not going to help enough that you won't have to do anything. You definitely will have to pull your own fair share of damage here. Alright, we got another fire on the Congo. We're still knocking down aircraft because even without our defensive AA, we have a ton of good AA defense. There's a nice nifty little smoke screen right here we can maybe take use of. Ooh, and both Shikakus? Alright. Alright, so let's get to work on these bad boys. And we're just gonna start lighting them up from stem to stern. And this is the power of the Worcester. If you can catch a target unawares, or detected by aircraft, then you can just definitely take them out. There's one. Actually going for the New Orleans behind me. I'll take that. And let's do the Death Rainbow again. If you stagger your shells or your turrets, you can just keep firing unlimited until the target's sunk, especially on stationary targets like this. Yeah, this ship has no problems against carriers. It's pretty much battleships that it's going to struggle against. But if you can just light enough fires and let the fires do the work for you, then that is a good way to burn them down and destroy them. And yeah, let's pop another defensive AA, because we do have a lot of aircraft around us, and immediately a ton of them go down. Looks like we have some destroyers over here as well. Should probably finish those off before we turn back. Is there anything else over here? Oh, there's the other carrier. It's a good thing we turned around. Alright, and let's start working on this one. And more destroyers. Awesome. Now this would be a part where the radar would come in handy, so I could see if there's any other ships over here. But like I said, I do prefer the AA defense, because I like taking out as much of the aircraft as possible. I do have to worry about torpedoes, though. The ship does not have a lot of protection against torpedoes. But most light cruisers don't, so... Well, at least we were able to take out all of the carriers so far, so that definitely helps our team quite considerably. And we're still shooting down aircraft. We're up to almost 70 aircraft already. There's more destroyers. So let's finish those off really quickly. There we go, 2 salvos. That's really all it takes if you're close enough. But we are still losing ships at quite a fast rate. But we are catching back to the lead. So we started off the game being down by 11 ships. Now we're only down by 6 ships. But I mean, we only have 1 carrier left, and that's a Bogue. So it's not really going to do anything, even though she does have 2 kills. Are you still in the smoke screen over here? I'd rather not leave any ships over here and then find out I have to come all the way back. Yep, I thought so. Alright, cool. Now, I think that's all the ships over here. So we're going to turn right around and start heading back this way towards all the action. And hopefully we'll still have a team by the time we get back there. Ooh, there's a Yama right there. I guess we're going to go tangle with the Yama. Not necessarily a good thing, but we can burn her down relatively quickly, I would say. Though these Yamas tend to not catch on fire as easily as I want them to. We saw that when we had our Bismarck game as well. There's also another battleship over there. What other battleships do they have? Oh, that Wasp has 4 kills now. Awesome. Or that Bogue. So there's still Yama and Nagato, 2 Takaos and Mogami, 2 Ayobas, a Faritaka, 1 Kuma, 2 Gugeros, and only 4 destroyers left, actually. That's really good. Alright, so let's start the Death Rainbow. We're not going to stagger our turrets this time, mainly because I need as many shells to hit as possible. And we're going to have to start dancing, because 18-inch shells definitely hurt this ship. And we're just hitting the turrets right now, and that's why we're all shattering. But maybe some of them will land in the superstructure and set some fires? Would be nice. There we go, we got 1 fire. Time to dance, 2 fires. Already using a heal, that's surprising. Our shells are landing on stern now, so maybe we can get a 3rd fire there. Oh, now they're hitting the midships. Go back a little bit more. Ooh, yep, that hurt. I didn't even see where that shell came from. I do see those, though. And we're gonna just stay at range here. And flip around. Yeah, not many fires are being set on this battleship, though. I don't really know why. Ooh, we actually bounced that shell. That's nice. Alright, there's another fire. Though she is slowly getting out of range here. So I do have to be careful to keep her in range. What is my range? 16.8. We bounce those as well. If I'm directly fore or aft, I can only use 2 turrets. So that does limit my ability to actually do damage. Alright, we're in the boundary. Let's turn around. What's she like right now? Well, she is pretty... She has, what, a third health left? It's a good thing we're not detected. Oh, and as soon as I say that, we get detected. Alright, time to go. Because we keep losing ships. But at least there's no carriers to deal with. That probably is why our team is still alive. Or at least limited alive. Because there's no carriers to actually sink them. That doesn't mean the battleships can't do it, though. And also, I didn't actually mention this at the beginning of the game, but now that we're on the last part of the 4 world missions, we will be using teams. So that is why I'm using Worcester today. Been pretty lucky armor-wise so far. If you angle just right, you can even bounce a Yamato shell. I don't think you can bounce a Super Yamato shell no matter what you want to do, but you can also try. But yeah, if you armor it correctly, you can bounce it, but if it hits you in like the direct stern where it's a pretty flat surface, it'll go right through your stern and citadel you, so it's a game of where is the shell going to impact, kind of. That's why when I turn away, I always kind of keep at this kind of angle to see if I can bounce it from there. And that should sink Yamato. Well, the fire will. Alright, cool. Now the Nagato's over here. And what do we have left? We lost our last carrier, which I was actually able to get 5 kills. We have a North Carolina, 2, or just 1 Atlanta, and 3 Farragut's. And we still have a Nagato, it's a cow, 2 Ayobas, a Ferutaka, Kuma, and still the 4 destroyers. Alright, that actually doesn't sound that bad. I think we can manage that much. Especially if the Nagato is going to go down. I think the North Carolina is slapping her around pretty easily. Ooh, there's a Kuma over here. Not so much a Kuma anymore. And a destroyer. Okay, well let's switch to the destroyer. Because the destroyers have a tendency to go hide. So if we shoot them while we can see them, then that means we don't have to go hunt them down later on. Okay, so we have a few salvos out towards her. And we sank her. Awesome. Right, and this one. The amount of damage you can dish out to some of these ships is ridiculous. That should sink her. Alright, these cruisers are pretty close, but let's see if we can set some fires on this Nagato and burn her down a little bit. That way the next time we see her, she doesn't have as much health. And in fact, if enough shells land, we could be able to sink her, honestly. No fires, though. Oh well. Alright, let's start taking out these cruisers. We're going to actually switch to armor piercing here, because they are giving us a very nice broadside. And we can take advantage of that and start hitting their citadels. Just like that. Alright, that should sink you. Next. That should sink you. No. 85 health. Okay. Alright, we are actually being shot at now pretty respectably. So let's not get cocky and get sunk by light cruisers after, or heavy cruisers after all of this. We're going to switch back to high explosive because that's just enough angle from these cruisers to actually start bouncing my shells. But they can't bounce high explosive. Alright, we're going to turn back in because I want to engage the Nagato afterwards, and she's currently out of range. And we still have 2 more destroyers to find wherever they may be. Alright, that one is you down. Next. There's another fire. We have almost 40 fires in this game. Not quite my record, I don't think. There we go, 40. I think my record is like 60 something. Alright, and we're almost in range to engage the Nagato here. I'm going to pop another heal, mainly because there's only 3 ships left. And we're in range for Nagato. Let's start raining more high explosive down. And I have no idea where these 2 destroyers are. Again, this is a part where radar would come in handy very much, because it can at least tell me the general location of them, and then I can head towards that location and sink them. Right, getting a little bit of high explosive damage, but I really would like a fire. There we go. Ask and you shall receive. And we should be able to kill her from here. There we go. Another ship down. And now we just have to hunt the destroyers. I'm going to assume they might be near the Nagato. Similar to how the other destroyers were near the Yamato. So we're going to head over this way and see if they're over here. Hey, I think I was correct. Alright, let's turn broadside a bit. And just start slinging out shells. And that's 1 destroyer down. And maybe the other one should be around here as well. Well, there's a smoke screen over there, but I think that's our destroyers who are doing that. Oh, there she is. Alright, and this is the last ship. So I'm actually curious to see how much damage we do, because I didn't think Worcester would actually be a good ship for this. But I was very mistaken. Alright, and there we go. We were able to win this first mission of 4-1. So let's see how we did. Alright, so let's take a look at our damage. 629,000 damage. 20 ships sunk. 1,080 shell hits. That's actually probably a record for Worcester. 68 aircraft shot down. 12 citadels. 46 fires and 3 modules destroyed. Let's check to see what damages we have. 388,000 damage was from high explosive alone. 61,000 from armor piercing, 179,000 damage from fires. Yeah, this ship is able to take on pretty much anything you come across. We damaged 26 ships, and out of those, we sank 20 of them. There was only 32 enemy ships, so there's only 6 ships that we didn't actually shoot at all. But yeah, if you can get close to the carriers, you're pretty much going to just ruffle stomp them. You have enough AA to protect you and everyone else around you. Destroyers, you can just, as you can see, one-shot them pretty much. Cruisers take a little bit of work, but if they give you broadside, you can definitely switch to armor piercing and just take them out that way. And then battleships, stay at maximum range as long as possible. Start dancing around their shells, all the while lighting fires on them to have the fires do the damage for you. That's a good tactic for Worcester, and that's how you should definitely play her. And with that, we were able to finish up 4-1, the East Solomon Islands. Tomorrow we'll be doing the Santa Cruz Islands, which is going to be a little bit harder. So thank you for watching, and take care.